Valentine to that special someone in your class. However, when I was 9, I had a little different experience. At my cousin Jessica's wedding, I encountered a little boy who was not afraid to go after what he wanted in life. He was confident and, alright, a little creepy, but there's something to be said for his persistence. The events of that evening would lead to my family teasing me for years to come. I'm going to walk you through every embarrassing detail from that night, and at the end you'll be able to look back and laugh and appreciate the humor of it just as I do. As with most embarrassing stories, I was completely unaware that something mortifying was about to happen to me that night. This was my first wedding being a flower girl, and I was so excited. I loved the job. The wedding was in September, and the reception was held in a tent outside of a beautiful wooded area. The fall colors, mixed with the delicious food and lively music, made for such a fun evening. The only thing I was concerned about was dancing with my family and having a good time. I remember doing the chicken dance and the cha-cha slide and dancing with the bride and groom. Little did I know that my night was about to take a drastic turn. Out of nowhere, a little boy came up to me. He was maybe 11, he had short blonde hair, and he was wearing a cute little dress shirt and tie. He said his name was Evan, and he asked if I wanted to dance. I didn't know what to say, so I said sure. I followed him out onto the dance floor and started dancing to whatever upbeat song was playing at the time. But that was not what he had in mind. He wanted to slow dance with me to a fast song. The whole situation was incredibly uncomfortable. I ended up giving in and dancing to one slow song with him. And after the dance was over, he went and sat down by my dad and said, "You have a very beautiful daughter." Can you imagine how weird that was for me? You might think that slow dancing at a wedding with a little kid is not that embarrassing, but that was just the beginning of it. Evan hovered close to me for the rest of the night. Everywhere I went, he went too. By the end of the evening, all I could think about was how to get away from this little boy who was so clearly smitten with me. Perhaps the funniest thing to come out of that night was a picture of me sitting with Evan at a wedding table. Here's me, this little girl in a white flower girl dress, and this little boy is sitting next to me, staring lovingly up at me. The expression on my face can only be described as a complete snarl, clearly not happy with whoever chose to document the moment. The night just seemed to get worse and worse from there. When Evan walked up to my dad and asked if we could go for a walk alone in the woods, I thought I was in the middle of some never-ending nightmare. When the night came to a close and my family was getting ready to leave, Evan lingered near me, clearly hoping for a hug or something. I distinctly remember talking to my family and moving around, trying to avoid him. When we finally decided to leave, I darted out of there faster than a spooked animal. The second the car door was closed, I breathed a sigh of relief, but I wasn't prepared for how my family was going to react. They laughed about my situation the entire car ride home, and the next day, my extended family got a good laugh out of the story too. To this day, I still hear the phrase, "Your daughter is beautiful," among all the other weird things he said to my family about me. The story is sure to be brought up during holiday gatherings when my family is back together. With time, I was able to appreciate the humor of the story. Sure, I was embarrassed about it for a while, but now I just see it as funny. That wedding turned into a very interesting story, all because of an audacious little boy named Evan. The moral of the story is to be confident like Evan. He clearly wasn't afraid to go after the things he wanted in life. Somebody must have put the idea in that little kid's head that if he liked a girl, he should stop at nothing to try and win her over. It's important to take first steps like that in life. If you don't take the first step towards your goal, you'll never reach it. So remember, always reach for your goals. However, if your goal is to try and go on a walk with a girl with a protective dad, you might want to think